What's up, good people of YouTube? Look, I done took a screenshot. I did not mean to do that. Okay. I'm gonna do my client's hair and tell y'all about hair and highlights. I got a story. Okay. So when I was in hair school, which was you can't hear that beat. That's not one to go on. They can't see that with the back of your head anyway. Okay, so when I was in hair school, I was broke. I'm talking about like no money. I remember I was getting some food stamps. I had Section 8 and I had a little crappy clinic. I had food stamps. I had a little check. And, you know, I was at school. They made sure you was doing something, and I had a company that helped. What was it? I guess young mothers, because I was like 19 at the time, and I had a baby when I was a teenager, and so they paid for my schooling, right? So I was real broke. I remember, and I smoked cigarettes. Like, how you gonna smoke cigarettes when you broke? Like, that don't even make sense. But I was broke, and I was addicted to cigarettes. Okay, hardcore, all day long. Okay, it's crazy. Okay, hold on a little bit. And so I remember at this time I was real broke. I had to and so what's crazy is that I still did hair. Like, I did hair on the side, but I remember before I went to hair school, people would give me $20 for a hairdo. Sometimes less than that. Sometimes they want to try to give me some cigarettes. Like, for us to get their hair done. And I remember I was doing hair, but I wasn't making hardly no money off of it, which is why I went to hair school. And so I remember trying to I convinced my little, it was like an Arab guy at the corner store by my apartment. I had convinced him to sell me cigarettes out the pack for $0.25. Yeah, well, we wasn't even really in the hood, but you know, the apartments wasn't great. They weren't great, I'll be honest. But he wasn't doing that. I remember I was like begging him to do it. He kept saying no, but eventually I was just like, listen, you'll end up selling them still. And for more, I literally had to run the numbers for him to see that he was gonna make a profit for selling them to me for $0.25. But that was when it was cheaper. I'm pretty sure they were ridiculous now. But because the last I heard, they were selling a $4 piece in Chicago, and I was like, whoa, $1. Anyway.
They about 50 cents.
I remember, yeah. If it's still 50 cents somewhere, they doing good. Because I heard it was bad. I was like, so you get $20 a box of cigarettes in Chicago? My cousin said, yeah. He said he is. So, anyway, I remember digging in the couch when he finally started allowing me to pay 25 cents. I remember digging the couch looking for quarters. Like, that's how I was on the cigarettes. Anyway, that's not the story. I was doing bad. I don't recommend it because they had me digging for change when I shouldn't even been smoking. I had no money. Anyway, glad I quit now. Like, okay, I finally made it on the other side. It was hard. I ain't gonna lie to you. But anyway, so I was like trying to figure out ways to make money, and so I knew that whenever me and my cousins would like go to the hair store with our hair done, like I might go to the hair store specifically to pick up clients. Like, I highly recommend anybody in hair school that doesn't have a job and you're looking for a job, the hair store is where I got all my first clients because I worked in there. Actually, when I was younger, I did. I used to do everybody's hair and go hang out at the hair store, go buy some gel or something, just so we can be up there, so people can be like, hey, who did your hair? And they're like, oh, what's your number? Who did your hair? So back in the day, I had to ask my grandma and everything. We call people on the landline, like, hey, my grandma says you can come over at this time. Yeah. My grandma did hair, so I think she was kind of proud. So, because I was young, I think the first time I gave my auntie a haircut on a wig, she made me cut her wig, I was 12. Oh. And my grandma taught me, because I didn't know, I was like, hey, I don't know how to cut no wig. But anyway, so I got me a job at the hair store when I was in hair school to make some money. And I met this little lady. It was a nice little lady. She was so sweet. And she was like, you know how to do a song yet? And I was like, yes, ma'am. And I did. At the time, it wasn't my best work. I got better. But I don't think she cared because when I tell you what she brought to me, it was like, no. So she already had a sew-in, and she was like, "Can you take the one I got down?" And I'm like, "Sure, of course I take your sew-in down. I put them in. I know how to take them down." And so when she got to my apartment, actually, not my house, but my apartment. Um, she went to let me get to her hair, and she started taking these pins out, and I'm like, what? And there was the big jumbo pins, like how I used to do lock-up dudes now, actually. At the time, I had barely seen these things. They were huge. And, because this is, we talking about, like, so we pushed 20 years ago. So, in hair school, probably definitely 20 years ago. So, she pulling these giant bobby pins out of her head. And I'm looking like, who need that for a sew-in? And when I tell you, when she got done taking all the pins out, her sew-in just kind of fell to the side. It like fell to the side, but it was like still connected to her head. And so what I did, I was like picking it up, like it looked like a hat, but then it was still stuck to her head by her hair. So her hair, the cap was like coming up off her head and like moving around. I'm serious, like. So I got to digging around like through her scalp trying to figure out what was going on, because her hair, was kind of fine and thin, so I could like go through it and see her scalp, and it was dirty. It was, it was a lot of flakes on there. The scalp needs to be cleaned off pretty regularly, and so she told me 6 months. She told me she hadn't had her sewn, because when I'm looking at how much growth she got, I'm like, it got to be at least 9 months. She said 6 months, but I don't even think she got a good hold of how much time had passed, because she had about a good 7 or 8 inches of new growth underneath that cap that was once a sew-in. Wow. But I mean, I was looking, because she's talking about how long her hair was under there. I'm like, it must have been, because I'm looking at how much growth you got right now in 6 months. This is a miracle amount of growth in 6 months. And so
she got that sew-in.
So I'm trying my best to find a piece of thread. I'm trying to find one little piece of thread. I'm trying to find a braid, some semblance of something that looks like a braid, so I can try to like get it loose. It's literally fused into the hair that it was sewed to. Like I couldn't find a braid, I couldn't find a piece of thread. Everything. You know how when girls get those braids and they be in for a long time, and then they get like right at it, they have all this new growth, but right at the edge of the braid it'll be that white buildup, look like lint. But it's really sebum. It's the dead skin cells that your scalp makes, right? Mixed with the oil that your scalp makes. And it all just stops where it gets stuck at, and it gets stuck at the braid because it can't go past it. And so the same thing happened with her sew-in braids. They got caked up with sebum and the scalp buildup. And so it was like white. It was white. And it looked like a full... I ended up having to like go and find the edge of it, right? And just cut. She had about 7 or 8 inches. All she wanted to do was put it back in the sewing. She was probably leaving for another 9 months. Wow. But I was just, child, they're not supposed to stay in that long. But anyway, the purpose of that story is just to illustrate that hair's gonna lock if you stop combing it. If you stop combing it, it's gonna lock, and it's gonna lock into whatever it's touching. And so her hair had fused into one big, thick dreadlock connected to the sew-in hair, which she had been combing, oiling, and doing stuff too, so it was just nice and greasy and thick and stiff, But it definitely, once I cut it off, there was a thick dreadlock. There was no braid. It was just a thick dreadlock, like a big flat disc of dreadlock connected to I still couldn't find the thread. It was white, but you could see hair that was matted through there. Not a braid though. You couldn't see the braid. Couldn't see braid, couldn't see thread, you could see white.
It naturally locked.
And it just locked. It all locked into the thread, it locked into the wefts that she had sewed on. It all locked into her. It locked into her hair, and there was no separating it. And I mean, I tried for like probably a good 30-45 minutes, but like there's only so much you can try where it's like there's no thread here. I'm just shooting in the dark here, and I'm going to end up cutting her anyway. But when I told her, like, I think I'm going to have to cut it, she's like, oh, girl, I figured that. And I'm like, oh, great. I wish you would have told me that. Because I'm over here trying to save what's hair is left in here. She's like, no, they usually cut it. Oh.
You did.
But yeah, I cut it off, and she didn't want the hat, so I threw it away. But yeah, there was
What the heck?
it was like a little hat. You could set it on your head, and it would just sit there because it was like, yeah, it was that enmeshed. It was like she had created a hair hat, and I hate that. I hate that term, but that's what I cut off from her head. It was literally just up, loose, moving around. It was wild. I had never seen anything like it. But yeah, this hair, especially afro hair. You know, straight hair might have a hard time with this because when straight hair sheds, it sheds into straight hair. And so it just slides right up. You don't have to comb it really. If you touch it a little bit, you're going to have hairs. You know, if you go around the office building, you'll see straight hairs just floating through the air conditioning.
Oh.
But afro hair, you know, curly. And so when curl sheds into curl, it instantly just gets stuck. The longer it's left to its own devices, it's going to lock anyway. Most of the time, when people are leaving their braids and they're talking about, I want to leave my braids in for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, what you're saying is you're locking your hair, and when you go to take it out, it's going to be a lot of work to comb it out. That's the only thing you're telling me, because I know that 6 months of shedding is going to lock your hair. It's going to be locked. It's going to be hard to take down. It's going to be painful. Hairs are going to get broken, which is my problem, usually. Yeah. So, I don't know how to make these stories last longer.
It would sound painful though if you got braids and you just letting it grow out 6 months and trying to comb that out. That just sounds like
It definitely is. And I'm tender-headed. So I got 2 weeks tops in me before I have to come out because it hurts. And if it hurts, first of all, if it hurts, I know it's breaking. I know that something damaging is happening if it hurts. And that's, you know, whether it be pulling on my scalp too much or making my hair as the comb passes through. I barely use actual combs, actually. Like, even like, you know, I do my retwist when it comes to stuff. I do sterilize with comb, you know that, but I don't usually use combs on my hair at all. Only if I'm, you know, doing my little extensions and whatnot. I barely use a comb. When I did those little twists I had a few weeks ago, I don't know if you saw them because I changed my hair so fast. But
yeah, I seen videos. Yeah, it's like one day you had this way, another day. The next video, it's like, okay, well, you done switch it up, and it's like,
because I'm back. That's what we doing. But like, I don't know. I haven't really found a lot of stuff that I really like. Yeah. And you know, I like short. I like really short. Off my neck. And yesterday I had it in a ponytail, and that ponytail was actually cool because it's way too hot actually to have hair down like this. It feels like I'm wearing a hat.
yeah.
It's
I was feeling.
But I actually am glad I got this on live because my hair kind of wet this morning. I wet it pretty much every morning if I'm going to wear it, you know, loose. When I lock it, I don't wear it every morning. But when it's loose like this, I wear it every morning. Otherwise, it's just flat on pretty much all sides because I sleep like a wild person. It's usually standing up in the top and then flat all over.
That's like a wild.
I don't stay in one spot. I used to. I don't know how to do it anymore. But so I usually wet it, and by the end of in the morning, oh, you have good hair, which is, you know, cool. I think it's good hair, but I also think that everybody that says that I have good hair have the same hair that I have. They don't do the same stuff that I do to it, and it's probably because I have paperwork and schooling behind me to know what to do with it. I should know what to do. You know what I'm saying? I should know how to make my hair make it look a certain way. But at the end of every day, it's afro. Like, this is still real loose up people. By the end of the day, it's all gonna be like my little nephew. So by the end of the day, it's flat to my head, and it's like no matter how long my hair gets, it still makes a tiny afro. By the end of the day, it's wild. It doesn't make any sense. I was just talking to my sister about it last night. But she was telling me when I was a baby I had straight hairs, and you know, I got the mixed thing, so I do have some straight hairs, and they're random and they don't make sense, and that's another reason I can't leave my styles very long because it looks, after a couple of weeks, it starts to look like a white girl with the style. It stops afro and it's weak. It's like it's afro, but it's weak. So.
I got just enough curl to get started.
I got just enough. I mean, it'll curl real tight, but it also will go real straight as nuts. So, but I think I could I mean, I did it with my sister's hair. I was to wet her hair every morning and put the same products that I put on her hair that I put on my hair. She's not mixed. Her afro is tight too, but she got locks down her hair down her neck. But when we were younger, I would just wet it, but my grandma wouldn't let us wet her hair. I had to do my own hair most of the time because I had a little bit of feel, you know. But she wouldn't let me do nothing to my sister's hair, or at least I wasn't allowed to. You know, we did sometimes. But like, I think I could do the same thing to her hair. It's just like mine. Once it's dry, it's tight into an afro again. But as long as it's wet, so you know, if you want afro to hang into curls, it just gotta be wet on it. That's the secret. You gotta be wet. So I get a spray bottle and spray me down in the middle of the day, in the summertime especially because it dries so fast.
Is that what they did back in the late 70s, early 80s when they converted from afro to Jerry curls?
That was chemical.
I know, I'm just thinking.
It looks the same though. It has the same look, but no, that was chemical stuff. And what I didn't get is that, so the Jerry curl, for the Jerry curl, they would straighten your hair first. So the curl has like a process of relaxer first. It has like a relaxer process, and then you put these rollers in it. So you probably saw that part. You put the rollers all in it, which for me it was like, why are you putting these super tight rollers in? If you're trying to loosen up your curl, you should put a bigger roller. They put them little tight rollers. You put an afro back into it, but it's when you put all that product on it, it hangs. The thing about it is they never try to put that product on it and keep it wet all day just naturally. I mean, but that product was more greasy though. It was more greasy than watery, and grease really just blocks water, makes the hair brittle, hard, stiff.
Aren't you glad that's past our phase?
I'm so glad. But we still got a ways to go. We do. We still got a ways to go. I know that because of the people arguing with me in my comments. We're trying to anyway. It's kind of pointless. But yeah, I know we still got a little ways to go, but we are moving. We are moving fast. We are making progress. I am thrilled. So many of my clients are locking their dogs out. And they don't need me for that. You know, I start them, and then that's it. They be at home taking care. They can do it, and I'm proud of them because they already, it's all. Everything else is so much work. But when you already doing all these different styles for your daughter, retwisting some locks is easy. That's easy compared to braids and twists and barrettes and beads and rubber bands. You can actually still do all the styles. All the same styles, but it'll be locked. So you retwist it first and then do the style. The style is way easier to put in. Like all the little girl styles and cute ones with all the parts and the designs and stuff. If you do that with some locks, it's gonna take like less than half the time. Probably like 10 minutes. Because all my lock styles, you know how you've done barrel twists once or twice, haven't you?
Oh,
Have you ever done that? Okay, so ropes we do before the dryer, right? But it only adds like an extra 10, 15 minutes to my time. Barrel twists I do after the dryer because they have to be dry. It's gonna be hard to dry once you get all that hair bunched up like that. Rope can dry pretty good still under the dryer. So that's why we do those before. Also, I need barrel twists to dry so that the locks aren't trying to unravel while I'm trying to style them. Anyway, so barrel twists after the dryer only take like another 10 minutes. So it's the same, it's like 10, 15 minutes. So each style only adds like an extra 10, 15 minutes to my time. I prefer ropes when I do it before the dryer. We still do it after the dryer. but the barrel twists still don't take a whole lot of time. Like even the updos that I do, they might take 20 minutes because I gotta put it all up and then pin it all down. And that's really the hard part. But yeah, the styles, once the retwist is retwist usually only take me about an hour, but some people might take 2 hours, but that's still, compared to the other styles that used to take all day, depending on how much hair you got and how many daughters you had, the retwist is faster.
I tell you something, what my sister did, she used to get them micro braids, and that'd take like 12 hours or something.
Oh,
like,
yes. And take all your hair out too.
Yeah, like I never understood the whole micro braid.
Oh, they do micro locks now. Pray for them. Pray for them.
That don't sound like it's healthy for you to have micro locks. Don't you need it to be?
It's not, and it's so cute. They love it. Okay, and it takes all day, sometimes multiple days to put them in. They be 2 or 3, sometimes maybe 4 strands of hair. Now, and don't get me wrong. If you got that super tight motherland hair, then yeah, you can get tiny locks like that. But most of us ain't got hair. Most of us do not. Almost all of us got a little bit of Caucasian in our genealogy somewhere. I know I got more than others, but everybody, everybody got some.
But no,
In this country.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, micro locks. Like, what really is the benefit of even getting them? Because
I'm thinking they just like the way that it looks. Cause I don't know. I mean, I think that the common misconception is that it's just as heavy as, you know, what they're now calling traditional locks, which is what you have. I like that name. I mean, I like that name. I don't think that's what traditionally locks are not this. Traditionally, locks are probably Rasta.
yeah.
That's the traditional thing. Like what Whoopi did. Whoopi got some box braids in her hair and then just stopped combing her hair. You just let it grow and it locks on its own. As long as you keep them separated, you still have, you know, some semblance of individuality, which is what I think Bob Marley and Whoopi did. You know, Whoopi's got extensions now. But anyway, the micro locks don't have a benefit, and most people don't know it ahead of time. But I think it's around usually like 7 years in is when people start, you know, what I wish they would do is when their hair starts falling out, I wish they would get on the internet and say, don't get sister locks, don't get micro locks. But they don't do that. They call me and say, is there any way you can save this?
You just
Like, where is the lady that's been doing me and charging you hundreds of dollars every month? Where is she? Because you need to make her fix it. Who needs to fix it? But I don't know what be happening. All I know is that I get to see it when it's falling out in patches, and it's depressing. I don't want to see that, and I wish people would stop getting them. Alas, I'm only one person, and I'm preaching into the wind. It's like I'm speaking out into the abyss. They really somebody don't hear it, and I'm happy for them because I just want people that know me would ask me first, because you don't see me doing it. So why you didn't ask me before you went to do that? Now when your hair be falling out in patches in 7 years, you're gonna be like, Tiffany, how come you didn't say nothing? You knew. I didn't know you was about to do that. I saw it on Facebook. I ain't know.
like,
I saw it on Facebook and was like, and now it's too late. I don't want to be like popping your inbox like, girl, go take that out now. You can't take it. I mean, that's one thing. You know, when you started your locks, you could have combed them out. For the first 2 months, you probably could have combed them out with somewhat of ease. By the end of 2 months, it still would have been a little bit harder. But still, you could have combed them out. When you get those, they in there. Who's about to sit and take that down? It's worse than taking out braids because it's knots. It's not braids. It's knots. It's like taking a really tangled up shoestring.
Yeah, at that point, you just cut it.
Electrical cord. Yeah.
Throw it away like, nah, I'm good.
So, well, they always do. And that's the thing is like, I'll see somebody with sister locks and then in like 7 or 8 years, they'll pop out with a big chop and be bald completely. And they don't tell people like, I did the big chop because I had to, not because I wanted to. I would have done micro locks roll all the way down my back. The gag is, they won't.
They gonna reach a certain
They
point
not
and
gonna
then
make
they like, we're done.
What you gonna do? And so yeah, still need to inquire. And the reason why, I mean, I'm starting to make more videos and working here makes it easier for me because there's less people. And like when there's so many people in the shop, you gotta entertain them. And so I can't be on the camera, record or going live because they're gonna be playing something that's copyrighted or there'll be other people that may not want to be on camera. I can't ask everybody; it's too much. I already be getting nervous asking everybody in my chair if they don't mind me recording. I appreciate you. I start putting in the notes for people that don't mind. So they can get preferential seating. Cause yeah, I want to supplement income. I can't. They don't mess up the purchase money over there at this shop. I'm sad about it. We should be better. But yeah, I don't recommend the micro locks. If you see somebody to get them, like, let me tell you something. My teacher said, don't do that. You see how money is going? Here's for the opposite. So what I've noticed with those things is like they don't seem to grow as fast. If that's what's really killer to me is why are they growing so slow? If this is healthy. Now I know that
the hair follicles or
I think the hair is scared to grow because as soon as it grows a little bit, it's gonna snap off. Because it's just 2 little strands. And so those 2 textures are so different. Like if it's a super tight afro curl, the texture when that new growth hits is going to be so different that they break off so easily. Like they be losing them. I think they don't be telling people think they be losing them often. I don't think
They probably they probably wake up, find one laying in the bed dead.
Because I have somebody with a whole head full of like okay sized locks, and there'll be one tiny one. And that one tiny one we be barely hanging on, and we have to attack with another one before it pops off. And sometimes they do just.
They just can't take it no more. Like, I'm out, and they just snap on out. That's crazy. Something else crazy I've seen, particularly men do this. I was in the gas station. The dude had some long dreads, and he. I guess trying to go, like you said, Rossi was trying to go natural, but he was letting his dreads like locked together, and it just looked real dirty.
Well, because we be collecting dirt.
Well,
You know, stuff be getting stuck in it. You know, some people locks really be like Velcro too. Some people, not everybody, but some people locks be like Velcro.
it just like I didn't understand. Like he had. Like I got my individual locks, like they were together, but they were somehow like starting to fuse together, but it didn't look natural. It was like
they doing these wigs now, the big thick huge things now, so that's bad too.
If you trying to do a wig, that's a bad job, very bad job.
I packed it up. That probably was wigs.
You won't have had 2 years.
Them things don't last very long at all.
That was just had 2, right? Didn't Jay-Z lose his, or he about to lose his?
I know he's about to. I ain't seen him yet, but I don't know when the last time anybody seen him. He probably depressed. That's what they go through. They go through a bout of depression when their hair start falling out, but they should have never did that. They should have never did that. And hair like that make you depressed. I don't know if it's how you look or just how the receptors are going off in your brain, you know? Because your hair is a mess, and these are your antennas, and you're getting bad information. You're probably doing bad.
Yeah, I see it. That was a trend from what 2015, 2016 to about a year or 2 ago. Yeah, about the weeks, and now you don't really see that trend anymore.
For me, the sister locks and the wigs. That's why I had to shop them on the wall. Locks too big or too small always break because they just don't have the longevity. And that's what I'm, that's what I'm in it for. I'm in it for you can keep your locks for the rest of your life versus, one false move and hairs on the ground. No, that is not ideal. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and keep on going with this. You got some money? Keep on going with this channel, and then probably hit one of them things. There's like an app you can. I don't even know if it's an app or a website. Like a website you can like set up your classes, like with your curriculum and your what do you call it?
I think it was like the Google Classroom thing.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I can set up classrooms and then classes, and then people can just like either take the course or whatever. And maybe like do videos with it. I mean, I got videos, so it's like I know I can do better. That would be nice. I can do better because then people can ask questions and stuff. It's just harder when I'm actually working. I got work though, so until they start paying me for real. I have to work while I do it.
And there's another good topic to discuss. Why you have some hairdressers who just in it just to make money, and they're not in it to actually help the customer like you do. Like you actually like take care of the customer and you actually care about the hair and all that.
Yeah, and it's weird to me that people even choose this job or any job in hair or touch. I mean, you're touching people. Why would you not really care about nothing but the money?
That's some she's around.
It make you not be good at job though. So it's just unfortunate because if it was more of me, I can't wait till they got on for general public. I'm gonna build a salon and I'm gonna put all my clothes in there. Then we're gonna be rich. Because if I could do all the people that was asking for me, I would be rich. But unfortunately, my back says
there's only one of you.
And I can't. But it's soon. Let me tell you, soon as I get my clients, soon as I get my clients. Yeah, it's going down on my phone today, and it's sad because I don't have no good news. Well, actually, I do. I can't do it right now. I can't talk about it now because I got to finish what I'm doing.
No good news coming.
Yeah. I need some. Okay. Did I show you the picture of the power?
Oh yeah, you sent me that. Yeah, I looked at
I
that.
can't believe that. I went up yesterday and I saw them working on it. And so they're building like a whole new power box and new pipes to put up on the building. And what's going on?
You said a dump truck ran to the building?
I don't know what kind of truck it was. It was some semi truck, some kind of semi truck, and like the thing they got the horn or the smokestack, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They grabbed the wires and pulled the whole power line down. It's like, how did you pull the whole thing down though? You didn't notice something was off and stop. He pulled the whole thing down off the building. Power lines, thingless, sparks flying. Wow. Okay.
That almost sounds like someone might try to
Yeah, but this dude and his truck and his insurance company is trouble. I mean, I know this man done lost his job. I feel just terrible, but I'm gonna need a check. You know, I'm upset about it. I'm real upset because I'm losing a lot of money right now. I'm losing money. Money's just flying out the window right now.
Seriously, I would look into that.
And you know, it happened right before the 4th of July, so like the first. You know, really on the first, I ain't even paid. That was the first time I paid my rent late. I think I paid on the 4th of July. Because I was like, oh shoot, I need to pay my rent. But I was upset because why am I paying rent? But it ain't their fault. But like I had to cancel the weekend before the 4th of July. Where do you do that? That's not even a thing. You can't do that. That's the time you need to be open. I actually had to ask the girl. One of the girls was off. And I had to ask her, are you sure you need to be off those days? These are the days. We were slow a few weeks ago because of these days. And you was complaining about those days being slow. You sure? But she said she had no choice. So I know what that's like. Well, I mean, them is the bad days. But look, it turned out good because we ended up having clothes anyway. Crazy. But, you know, everything happens for a reason. And I really believe that. And I'm thinking the reason is because my back was hurt and I needed to take a break that I wasn't taking. And you know what happens when life see you need a break and you don't take a break, it make you take a break. That's how I was broken my damn ankle. Same thing. I need to stop. I need to just I can't do what I used to can do no more. I just can't. It is what it is. Maybe I will if I am able to recover, but my back hasn't healed up since I hurt it doing little kids. Like to the point where I want to do kids no more. I'm scared. You can't get them to hold their head right. They don't understand. It's not their fault. They just kids. They don't get it. They don't know what you're talking about. I am holding my head still. They say.
Their attention span with 30 seconds nowadays.
Yes, and they definitely be on their devices. And I can't see nothing.
They say they already small, they already hunched over, and then they hunched over even more.
They be like, is it less for kids? And I be like, I'm sorry. I really want to charge more for kids, but I know it'll be a whole thing. People will they'll be cussing me out because most places Kids are cheaper. But kids aren't easier. Kids are actually harder.
Well, yeah,
So we
the
just
services.
because the head is smaller, but service is harder. We just keep the same price. Everybody happy. So far, you know, the customers, most of the customers here get it. They've been doing their kids' hair, so they know. They don't want to do it.
But you know your own child, exactly. So if you know little Bobby ain't gonna sit still or something, so ain't no sense you going to somebody else, putting that child in that situation to make the hairdresser go through that. You know that boy ain't gonna sit still.
And they do it. But my thing is this: I don't have a problem. Well, I never did until my back started hurting with little boys if they hair is long. But I really don't like doing little boys' hair if they don't want long hair. Like if they're crying the whole time, that tells me they don't want long hair.
And some of their parents are making
yeah. I wouldn't force nobody to have long hair, especially if it's hurting them, you know. I don't like when they be crying. I want to do them if they're crying. Because I'm not going to traumatize nobody, kid. That's not right. I don't feel right. It doesn't feel okay to have somebody crying and in pain. Like, I'm only here for people that need me, not people that, you know, just want, you know. That's a little kid. I don't agree. I don't agree with that. That's trauma and torture. They will remember that. And I don't want them to put my face on it. No.
You know they got a lot of parents. They gonna send them anyway.
Oh no, I had one lady. She actually dropped her son off, and I called her.
She
and
dropped
I said,
him off.
Yeah, and I said I need you to come back and get him back down. I had washed his hair. He was getting starter lock. No, a long time ago. No, I had clips in, so it wasn't starter locks. And every time I would clip the back row, he was crying the whole time. And then I would clip the back row and he would do this like that. And rub it up. You know, when you got the clips in, he just knocked all the clips out. And I had to and I think I redid the back row like 3 times. And I was like, I'm just gonna call him out.
You're like, no, we don't.
I combed his hair out. I mean, I didn't comb his hair out. What am I talking about? I think I put him on the dryer. It just, I didn't want to have him leaving wet. But I took them clips out and I just was like, here, just dry it and, you know, wait for your body to get here. I'm not gonna torture nobody, kids. How much money did you get?
$5.
It looked like 20.
It's just 2 bunch of ones.
Are you just gonna keep flashing them on me? I thought this was a whole new set of ones. You just keep flashing the same set of ones. They be doing that on the internet too.
Man, I just stunned.
And took 20 pictures of the same money before they paid the rent.
You know, Mom, I got that stack on me. But the next time he'll do this, sometimes like he flash money, I'm like, okay, you want to spend
buy
it.
me something. Yeah, buy something nice.
Now, my son, he spent his money on video games. There's this new Mario game that's coming out. There's this new Sonic game coming out.
That's that one. He's saving up for a Switch because he's been asking me for one for like, I don't know how many years. I feel bad.
I know. My son, he wants something called a Steam
Deck. I feel bad because I wish he would want something else.
I don't know what it is. My son been asking for something called a Steam Deck. I'm like, what?
Oh yeah, they need the Steam Deck so they can play them video games on Steam that they be making.
I'm like, what is this and why do I need
that garbage?
Steam Deck's garbage.
It's garbage.
He's 13.
But he already got the Nintendo thing.
Yeah, see, you gotta move on. And that's my thing. Them games on that Nintendo thing cost a lot of money, and he'll be tired of it.
$59.
I'll be so mad when he gets it.
$49, $69. I'm like, jeez.
Oh, you ain't never gonna get tired of it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think it's some game. I think my son. I think he just pre-ordered Super Mario World or Super Mario something. But I don't know. It's one of the new Mario games that just came out. Well, I don't think it came out yet. He
He emulates them on his computer. He already knows how to make all the
games.
He plays all of them. He just wants that still.
I don't know. I'm not allowed to. That's it though.
And he has a phone. You're not allowed to emulate anymore?
No.
Why?
I haven't been for like 2 years.
I've seen him playing some kind of Mario game. Or maybe he put that on his, he got a Wii, and he turned the Wii into a little...
There it is, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and that same thing, $59.99.
Pass.
Man.
Y'all rich over there.
Hey. No. Grandma gave him money. No.
Grandma rich.
No, they're not.
She need to be my grandma. Shit.
I can tell you, man, recipes, France, Lady Debbie.
Well, they got a couple of consoles.
She wasn't giving me no money.
Ain't nobody doing all that. They doing them all. It's too many of them. I can't get 3 switches. So it's not gonna happen.
Nah, we get one, y'all gonna share that thing.
And I ain't about to fight with them. No, they be fighting and arguing.
No, ain't no fight. No,
nobody doing it.
No, what we do? if it's one device and more than one child need to use it, it's my device. I let you borrow it. That's how that works. So that's how you know they're not gonna fight over it because they already understand what it ain't mine per se. So we can't fight over it. And then after I'm telling you, hey, you use it at this time and you can use it at this time.
I think if I did that, then he would still be asking me to get him.
But you know, like it's technically it's what you just saying.
I'm gonna let their dad worry about it. He ain't gonna get it, so that's their problem. I'm done buying all video games.
Like we used to do, right? What we had to do? If we need some money, what we do? We got out there and we worked for it, right?
Job.
You got a job, you got a little side hustle, like cutting some grass, picking some.
Yep, I was doing hair from the youngest. The youngest of age. It really was.
Hey, hell, I just asked my grandfather sometimes if I need a couple dollars. Hey, granddaddy, you got any odd jobs you need done? Yeah, pick that broom up, go sweep that over there. Hey, all right. Matter of fact, I got some carrots out there in the garden. Go pick them carrots out and cut the roots off of. You know, just go side stuff.
We definitely put some work. And they get a little money. My grandma just got there, so they got them a couple dollars right now. They're gonna be begging to go to the Dollar General. Can't wait to go buy ice creams and cake and cupcakes.
Hey, that's what when we was kids. You know, as soon as we got a little money in our pocket, we head to the corner store or we going, like you say, to the hair store. Right?
Same though. Same. We went to the corner store. 2 cars was for 99 cents. 99 cents was right in the street. Of course, I wasn't allowed to go until I got much older. And then my auntie didn't go. My grandma didn't. My grandma didn't know about it. She didn't let us leave the yard. It was wild.
We had a spot called Bargain Town.
Bargain Town.
The name right there should tell you enough in itself, right?
Yeah, the dollar stuff.
Thank you.
They got a place down in Monroe over here called Roses. It's like a DD/Burlington/TJ Maxx type of place. It's called Roses. I like it because it's quiet and it's cool.
Look, 2 things.
All I be looking for quiet and clean. It's so hard to find quiet around here.
I need much juice.
In this house.
Okay. But listen.
That's why I be outside. I be outside getting towed up by mosquitoes. That's where quiet is.
That's about to sound like, look, it sounds like, yeah, you could really hear a pin drop around here.
That's where I gotta go get it. Oh, it's outside. You hear it ain't quiet in here. It ain't that quiet yet. It never will.
Hey, look, you want to get in some work to be able to get on your nerves? Some good gazebo.
They need to build this now.
I'm saying like a little netted gazebo outside.
I want them to build me a swimming pool. I want them to dig me a hole. I want real work.
You gotta get tractors out here, backhoes.
I need all of that. Let's do it. We can do it. I mean, honestly, I don't need the pool tomorrow. So we don't have to, it can take a year to dig the hole. I'm fine with it, a little bit every day. A little bit of hole digging every day. Matter of fact, I was thinking that would be good for my teenager because that's a nice outdoor activity where he can be alone and get out his aggression because we need that.
All you do is just get him, have him survey the land, make sure you got no cables or gas lines running in the well, and you're good to go. That's already, I can't do that in my backyard. I got so many darn gas line and cable lines running from my backyard.
So I don't know if I'm moving slow or if I don't know what it'll be my next one. I think I might have to bring her to the other door and show her in and have her wait up there because I can't do that yet.
Oh, you got the other shit.
She got to hang out with my family. It's her daughter.
Did she get hit with a family? Did you mention that earlier?
Maybe she did. You know, I don't think it would be considering.
But see, that's why I
They
tried to
don't know,
make.
never been here before, so you don't know what to expect.
Well, no, my timing was still pretty good. I tried to make sure because I figured maybe you have another client.
And I thought maybe I would
stuff.
ask her from later, but I didn't even get to send her the directions like I sent you. We're gonna let this go though because I don't want them sitting. Bye.